Welcome back to Treasure Theory, where we talk about all things cards and collectibles. I apologize if you hear a little bit of wind on the mic, or if you hear a little chime in the distance. I'm outside if it wasn't obvious already. I like to get a little bit of sun on me, touch a little bit of grass before I start talking about investing in cardboard, you know what I'm saying? But no, seriously guys, we're going to be doing a deep dive on the One Piece booster boxes. If you're interested in investing in One Piece, this is going to be a very crucial video for you. We're going to be looking at every single booster box that currently exists. We're going to be analyzing which booster box offers the most promise in terms of long-term investments, looking at the current prices, price projections, ROI, all that fun stuff. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for this one. But before we get into that, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Treasure Theory is growing phenomenally. Again, this channel is all about bringing you guys value, bringing you really interesting insights on the market and stuff like that in terms of trading card games and all that sort of stuff. So if you could like and subscribe, that'd be super great. Also, real quick, this is a GamerSup shirt. Use code Theory or Papa. Click the link down in the description below. Grab yourself some awesome merch. I mean, check it out, you know. GamerSups. Great products. Yeah. Great products. And with any further ado, let's get into it. All right, so here we are on Tier Maker. We have got all of the current One Piece sets that currently exist, two of which that are on the way. We're talking about PRBO2 and, of course, OP13. I'm thinking, guys, we're going to go one at a time. We're going to go from the first all the way to the end. We're going to shuffle around this tier list, and, of course, we're talking about which sets are the most, I would say, valuable in terms of long-term price action, long-term investment, just in general, collectors kind of stuff like that. The boxes that just have the most goodies, you know, the ones that are going to really do well long-term. So with that being said, let's start with Romance Dawn, guys. Romance Dawn. Now, we have two different waves of Romance Dawn, if you didn't know. There is the blue bottom, the bottom was blue, and then, of course, the bottom is white. They were like two kind of different waves. But when you're looking at the price action here, we can see a massive thing is going on. We have got a market price is saying this booster box is $2,100 US, guys. It's around 2,500 Canadian. This was the official first set that came out for One Piece, and of course, because it's got the blue bottom on it, it's become more valuable because it's just, you know, unique. They did a second wave of this, and they changed the bottom to white. Apparently, it matters. But we can see here that, I mean, the price difference is insane. We've got a $2,100 market price, and then, of course, when we look at the white version, it drops all the way down to $513 US. So really, really big, dramatic price difference. But I wanted to really kind of look at this because it's interesting, it's different. We also can't forget that this set also holds the OG Shanks manga card, which we can see has kind of dropped down the last year or so. However, we need to consider that, you know, when it comes to certain sets and stuff like that, all of these little qualities matter. You know, it was the first set, it was the first manga, it was the first this, the first that, this is blue, this is white, whatever. You know, there's a lot of really interesting things to consider here. So going to the tier list, where would I put the blue box? I would have put the blue box in S if, you know, we were looking at, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago when this box was around $1,100 market price, or a year ago when it was $873. But because that ship has already sailed and I really feel like it's already kind of ballooned in price, I want to knock it down to the A tier. I just don't know. I think that the train is already kind of really ran its course. I'm not saying this isn't going to go up more, but I do think it's a little out of touch for the typical One Piece investor. But, of course, I do think that it's worth getting. And I also want to put the white box in A as well, because we don't really know if this is going to go up in price like the other one. I mean, it's second place, right? It's still the first set, it's second place. The price has gone up actually quite a bit in the last 6 months, 161% over the last year. So I do think there's still time for the white box to really appreciate in value. But if you can get your hands on both of these guys, I really do think they are great long-term investments, regardless of which one you decide to get. So let's move on to OP2, which is the Paramount War. So taking a look at Paramount War, we can see that in the last 6 months, the box has only really gone up around 9% and 25% over a year, which, by the way, is still fantastic. 25% a year is great. But the current market price for this box is $210 US. So let's quickly take a look at the manga that comes in this. Obviously, we've got Ace, iconic moment, Paramount War, Marineford, the middle of One Piece. We can see this card's gone up about 5% in the last 6 months. Overall, in the last year, though, it's kind of lost its value. However, market price $700 US, pretty up there. I don't know. I personally think most of the mangas are definitely worth holding on to. It is a nice set. It is a nice card. And, of course, it's the second set in the series. So, I mean, hey, it's got some kind of value. I mean, of course, it's also old, right? Like, as more sets keep coming out, these are obviously going to become more valuable. I mean, in terms of reprints and stuff like that, which there probably won't be for these guys. So if I was to put Paramount War anywhere, I think I would put it in B tier. I'm not quite sure if it's like a phenomenal investment really long term, but I don't think it's a bad one. I do think the box will probably appreciate in value. If we've seen a 25% increase in a year, I definitely think that's a good sign. And 210 is not that's not the most unaffordable. I mean, that's what close to almost $300 Canadian. I do think that's a really good price point right now, and I do just think long term it's definitely a good idea to get. So I'm gonna keep it in B. So moving on, let's go to Pillars of Strength. Okay, so taking a look at the price action for Pillars of Strength, we can see over the last year this box has actually gone up 38%, which is actually really great. And the current price for this set is $230 US. Okay. So obviously in this set, we've got some really interesting things. We, of course, also have got the Soki King manga card. Really awesome card. And honestly, still an affordable manga card. There's a lot of iconic cards in this set. It doesn't scream too much to me. Again, we're seeing some really nice price action here. And it is interesting how it's more than OP2. This set also introduced those wanted cards, I believe. Yeah, they did. I was not a big fan of those. But overall, I mean, it's a good set. It's a nice set. But the thing is, though, I don't think the chase is really in this set. I mean, like, it's, like, don't get me wrong, Soki King, boss and all that stuff. But Usopp is not, a top-tier character in One Piece for a lot of people. I really don't think the chase is really worth it in this set. Again, I think Soki King's a great manga card. But I don't know. It's not really screaming crazy investment to me. Now, obviously, this is just my opinion. We are seeing some price action here. And obviously, I do think that the older the sets, the more worth it they are to have. I would honestly still invest in this and own it because, honestly, it's an old set. Why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean? It's crazy to me I'm calling this old. I mean, this game only started, like, at the end of 2022. So it is pretty interesting to see how much has changed. But yeah, I'm going to keep Pillars of Strength into C. We'll see how I feel as we go, but let's move on. So, of course, the next set is Kingdom of Intrigue. Looking at the price action, guys, in the last 6 months, it's gone up 30%, gone up 23% over 1 year. So the total market price right now is about $202 US. Kingdom's Intrigue, I mean, what's so special about this set? I mean, it comes with the Sabo manga card, which, hey, I gotta flash this every time I get the chance. I mean, it is a beautiful card. Let's be really honest. Sabo stocks may really shoot up as the series continues. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things going on in the One Piece show right now, the manga. So who knows? But obviously, Sabo's price has dropped 22% over the last year. But that's besides the point. We're talking more about the box. And, it's just not... This box doesn't scream a whole lot to me. I definitely don't think it's a, phenomenal investment. I really kind of feel like this is hovering around Pillars of Strength for me. I'm going to put it in C. I just think that it's okay. But I think everything OP5 and below kind of has its own seniority kind of price to it. And again, it's because it's older. There's not going to be reprints of these cards as far as I know. And overall, I think it's still worth getting. But again, that's my opinion there. Let's move on now to Awakening of a New Era, guys. This was the first set after the last 4 that really transformed the game for the better. Gear 5 came out, a lot of excitement. We got the Gear 5 manga card. And I mean, speaking of, let's quickly take a look at that. And of course, as we know, PRBO1 did a bunch of reprints on the mangas, but we're going to be looking specifically at the card itself, the manga that comes with this set. Over a year, it's dropped about 8%, but I mean, this card is literally $300,000. This card is $3,000 US. I mean, this is a heavy hitter. It's gone up 20%, 21% over the last year or so. I mean, guys, OP5 is a top-level play in the investment field if you want to invest money into the card game. It is an iconic moment in the series. It has an iconic card, which again is Gear 5 Luffy. That chase is insane. You know, Luffy's the main character. It's peak. It's honestly peak. And I really do think over time this set is going to really, really go up. I mean, it's currently at $273, which I think is pretty fair right now. You know, I go to the store and each pack is like $20, which is hilarious. Don't do that. Don't buy packs. If you want to buy the booster box, I definitely say this one is a S rank. Again, it's iconic. It was an iconic moment in the show. The chase is just too peak, okay? It's just too peak. And we'll obviously discuss PRBO1 and all that kind of stuff. I know there was a reprint of this guy, but just considering all the facts, I do think that this belongs in the S tier. Okay, let's move on to Wings of the Captain. Okay, this is the Zoro set, okay? We got literally the Zoro manga card. Let's take a look at him. So this set comes with the Zoro manga card, and look at this. We're seeing a 28% spike in the last year. This card is $805 right now. You know, the most recent sale is $1350. I mean, pretty insane. I think Zoro, obviously, he's, you know, he's the right hand of the captain, Luffy, you know what I'm saying? And Zoro's a very beloved character. I mean, he's super badass. I really think a lot of people just go for Zoro, and this set obviously kind of speaks to them. Wings of the Captain the last 6 months has gone up 12%, and over the last year, it's gone up 61%. Currently, the market price is $152. I think that this set is a good set. I think because Zoro is the chase card and there isn't a reprint of Zoro, I do think that's important. And obviously, like, there's other things in this as well, but we're just kind of looking at the top stuff. I do think it's worth the investment, but obviously, when it comes to the tier, what am I thinking here? Just considering the chase cards, and of course, you know, it is still kind of an older set now, I'm thinking I'm going to put this in B tier. You know, Zoro is a great chase card, and I do think that the price itself is also really low and very affordable and attainable for a lot of people. Obviously, you know, like the blue box romance, I mean, this is like $2,500, which is insane, but I do think Wings of the Captain belongs down in B. I think it's still a pretty good investment. I still think it's worth holding on to. But anyways, let's move on to OP7, 500 years in the future. Okay, so taking a look at the box, this has gone up 10% in the last 6 months, 45% in the last year. Current market price, $123. This is pretty low, actually. So let's just take a look at the manga cards that come in this set, okay? Boa Hancock, very popular character. She's gone up almost 24% in 6 months, 8% in a year. Current market price is $624, and the card's most recent sale is $950. If 500 years in the future didn't have Boa Hancock, I really think this set would just be like a total D tier set. I do think Boa is a great chase though, and I think, you know, the chase cards are going to influence the prices of these sets, right? Like, nobody's buying the sets with the crappiest cards. And I do think Boa is a pretty big heavy hitter in One Piece. And of course, you know, there's not that many female manga cards, you know, like which obviously, you know, waifu tax and all that sort of stuff. So if I were to put OP7 anywhere, I would put it, I'd say, in C tier. I'm not like too impressed with this set. I mean, I actually started really getting into One Piece around OP5, OP6. That's when I started playing. And when OP7 came out, I just wasn't really that impressed by it. I don't think it's really that crazy, but like, again, I think the price is great. I think you should snag one. And I just want to say real quick, just because I may put one or two of these in D tier or C tier or whatever, I'm not saying they aren't still worth getting. Obviously, we do have to create a tier list here, so. But anyways, let's continue here. So we're going to move on to Two Legends. Guys, I think Two Legends sucks. I'll be real with you. It's kind of mid. I mean, let's take a look at the cards that come in it. It comes with the Rayleigh manga. I mean, I think Rayleigh is a great character, but, you know, he's definitely on the lower end of manga cards in the series. He's dropped down by 18%. He's currently at $258 right now, market price. I don't know what it is about this set. I don't know. I don't think this was a very good set. I remember the Rayleigh cards in this set off from the manga were ridiculously expensive because they were great for decks. But, you know, looking at the 6 months, it went up by 13%. It's gone up 9% over the last year. But, you know, the market price is $103. So definitely one of the cheapest sets we've looked at. Definitely a very affordable set. I think it's worth getting. but I'm going to throw it in the D tier. I don't think it's a great set. I think it's probably one of the worst sets in the entire series. Again, I love Rayleigh. The chase is cool, but, you know, it's just not there. Now, obviously, the price may go up over time, but again, I just don't think the chase is really worth for a lot of people. Let's move on to a big heavy hitter, guys. OP9. All right, just like OP5, this guy's a big one. All right, in the last 6 months, it's gone up 17%, almost 18. The last year, 16%. Current market price per box is about $200 US. Guys, I think this box is very underpriced. I think it's very undervalued. It comes with 5 manga cards, okay? And of course, it comes with the Gold Roger. The gold manga card, the only one of its kind. This fraud, oh, I didn't say that. And I mean, guys, straight up, this card is status, okay? If you're holding this card, if you got this card in a gold chain, you know, send a pic, because that'd be hilarious. But that's literally how I envision having this. Like going to the store, buying gold, you know? Not that I want to replicate Logan Paul and the whole Pokemon stuff, but if there was a One Piece version, it is this, okay? But that's besides the point. You know, we've got all these other mangas too, the 4 Emperors. I've got this Buggy card here, and I mean, like, look at this. You know, in the last 6 months, he's gone up 54%, 2,100%. Now, I don't really know how. Yeah, that's definitely not right. I was gonna say that's crazy, but it's gone up quite a bit. Okay, it's gone up quite a bit. That's definitely not accurate. Got really excited there for a second. Now, strangely enough, Blackbeard's tanking 28% down the last year. Card is $613, but I mean, I still think Blackbeard's a really good chase card. And then, of course, we've got the Shanks, who is also dropping down in price 14% at $650, but I think these cards are kind of stabilizing in price now. And, of course, you know, Luffy, Iconic, yeah, they've all kind of dropped in price. Obviously, you know, OP9 isn't like an EB01 or PRB01 or whatever. You know, they're not limited print, so there was a lot sold, but, you know, the Gold Roger card, we don't even have enough data on this thing. The most recent market price was literally $3,200, most recent sale, but people are selling this guy for like $6,000 plus. I mean, it's insane. Gold Roger currently is king of the pirates, literally, in the set. So looking at the tier list, guys, this is going up in S. There's no question about it. Very significant set since OP05. And 5 manga cards come in this set. I think that's significant. Okay, let's move on to Royal Blood. So Royal Blood, guys, I liked Royal Blood as a set. I was very surprised, actually, at the price impact that this set had. It blew chunks, guys. This set tanked so hard. And I was very surprised. You know, there were some beautiful SPs in this set. You know, there was the Whitebeard, the Nami, the Onami, the Usopp. There was just so many great looking cards in this set. And of course, you know, we also had a Law manga card, a new one. I don't really quite understand why they're replicating some of these characters. I guess they want to keep some of the fan favorites. But, you know, we got 2 manga cards of Law. This one obviously kind of crapped the bed. It's at $330. I still think it's a nice card to have. I'd still recommend getting this, especially if you like Law. But yeah, guys, it just did not do very well, and we can see here this is the cheapest set, I believe, currently. Yeah, it is. Out of all the sets we've looked at, cheaper than 2 Legends, which is rough, okay? This is rough. This is a rough set. I'll be really honest with you. The SPs in this are really nice. I really like that Whitebeard SP. I have it somewhere. I really think the SPs were what shined in this set, but I'm putting it in D tier. I just don't think it was a good set. I guess they printed way too many. That's my assumption. And they, you know, having another manga Shanks, having another manga Law, I just, you know, it's like, okay, it kind of devalues the other one. So being really harsh with this one, putting it in D. All right, moving on to a Fist of Divine Speed. Now, guys, in the last 6 months, this set has also dropped in price dramatically. We got a 38% dip, 39 over a year. This set's $134 US. Now, here's the big shocker I found with this one. I thought that having a Luffy manga card in this set was going to really, you know, inflate the Luffy stocks when it comes to the series. But guys, when we take a look at the gear for Luffy, I mean, it dropped almost 50% in 6 months, okay? Harsh. Very harsh drop. Very harsh drop. The market price is $420. It's rough stuff. But listen, there's something different about this set, obviously, from the other sets. And that, of course, is the SPs that came in it. These SPs, of course, were the gold and silver SPs. Now, this has obviously dropped in price in the last 6 months as well, but I mean, look at this. This card is $2,300. Personally, if you ask me, you know, the SP gold actually outshined the manga in this set, obviously, and the price really shows that. But we also have a silver version as well, which, again, although has dropped in price, is roughly about $1,200 US. So I think, and not to mention, they're also Gear 5 Luffy cards. So this is the first of its kind outside of the mangas, and, you know, we've got Luffy SPs running around in this set. So guys, if you ask me, if the set didn't have the Luffy SPs, I'd put it in a D tier. I should put it in a C tier because honestly, the manga just really shocked me. I think it's the lowest Luffy manga right now currently. But I'm going to shock a lot of you guys right now. I'm putting it in an A tier. It's a very, very cheap set right now, and those gold Luffy's are just impeccable. I think they are a very sought-after chase card. And I mean, just taking a look at the highs and lows, I mean, like, obviously these are slight market manipulation prices if you ask me, but we can see that it's like the highest, they're some of the highest Luffy cards in the entire TCG, which really speaks volumes here. And you can see that the Gear 4 manga Luffy's down here. And because of that, I think it's an A-tier chase. I think it's a really frowned upon set right now besides those Luffy's, and I think people think it's maybe more of a B tier. But I really think because of the SPs, this set's different. I think it's worth holding on to. I think people want it. So there we go. Moving on to, and I do think the price will go up over time because of those. All right, moving on to Legacy of the Master. All right, so this set's tanking. It's at $122 per set, per box. And here are the cards that are currently in the set. Now, this is obviously the set that's currently out right now in the market, the latest one, I should say. The Jewelry Bonnie, I don't get it. The Legacy of the Master, don't understand. They should have threw like a Mihawk manga in here. This would have made it way better. I personally think they put Bonnie in here because currently Bonnie's relevant in the show itself, and I think they're just trying to, you know, poo-poo her out of there. Get her out there while they can, because it's probably the only opportune time to really, you know, get her as a fan fave. But we can see here that, you know, in the last 3 months, three months or so, price has dropped 15%. She's $405 US. I mean, I personally think that's going to go down a little more. I do think Jewelry Bonnie is definitely not going to be a mid-tier manga to hold on to. But guys, these Blackbeard gold and silver cards are interesting. Just like OP11, we've got these gold and silver cards. And for some reason, people just don't care a lot about Blackbeard, which I think is like a huge, like, I don't understand why people don't read the writing on the wall where Oda is bringing Blackbeard, because it's very clear, especially if you've been watching the latest chapters, Blackbeard is going to have a significant role in the show. I think stocks are low right now. I think Blackbeard stocks are low, and they're gonna skyrocket down the line. Just kind of like the Sabo. I think Sabo's gonna really, you know, increase in stock as the show continues. But as of right now, we're looking at the gold Blackbeard card at $836. Now, I knew this was going to drop. People were trying to sell him for $2,000, $2,500 when he first came out. And as you guys know, that's a big thing. You never buy cards when the set first comes out. But then we look at the silver one. Obviously, it's a lot less. Dropped by 44%, 44% at $697. So they're still kind of high in terms of price, but you know, they're definitely not as high as you'd think. Now, I think the set is nice. I think it's pretty. I do like some of the SPs. I actually pulled this guy. I actually pulled the Rayleigh Leader, which is great, but we can see here 70% drop. You know, it's brutal. It's brutal. And obviously when we see these drops, it's because they've printed so many sets of this. They've printed so many cards, and that obviously affects the value of this set. So if I'm being really honest with you, I think introducing these SP gold and silver cards do change the game with the tier list. So where am I thinking we put OP12? I mean, definitely not S, definitely not A. Could it go in B? It could. But the Manga Chase card sucks. And the only saving grace are the SP Blackbeard cards, which apparently just don't seem to be a fan favorite right now. If I could put it between B and C, I would, but I think I'm going to put it in C. Because honestly, the Manga Chase card just kind of really disappointed me and made no sense with the set. And not that they have to make sense. Like, I'll be real, it doesn't have to make sense. But Bonnie is just not, you know, the most impactful character in the show right now. Or, you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to put that in C. Moving on now to the fun stuff. Now we're going to be looking at EBO1, EBO2, PRBO, where is that? You know what I mean, PRBO1 and 2, and also looking at OP13 stuff. So, guys, EBO1, okay, EBO1 has gone up 5% in the last 6 months, 136% in a year, okay? This set is $346 US. What's going on here? Well, it's not the Chopper manga card, okay, that comes in this set. It's not the Chopper card. Now, the Chopper card's great. It's gone up 21% in the last 6 months and about 15% in the last year. You know, it's around $862. But that's not what's going on here. The reason why this set is pumping is because there's not that many that exist. It's a very scarce product. You know, if you're looking to collect and invest, this is definitely up there, guys. This is definitely one of those you want to invest in. Obviously, it was the first of its kind. And I just think that it's significant. I think it's significant for investors. I think it's significant for collectors. The price is obviously going to go up. Supply and demand is kicking in. So I'm putting it in S. All right. It's going in S. I think it's something you should own and have and sit on while it's still somewhat affordable. It's definitely going up in price. And I definitely think it's worth it. Moving on. Where's PRBO1? So moving on, let's go to where the hell is PRBO1? I didn't even click that. So moving on, guys, PRBO1. Okay, this set's a very interesting set. So currently it's at $450, which is quite high actually. And the price has shot up 80% in the last 6 months and 162% in the last year. Now, what's going on? Why is this set so expensive? Well, just like EBO1, we've got, you know, a serious scarcity thing going on here. But that's also besides the point, because we've got the reprints of the manga cards in here. Look at this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 manga card reprints in here, guys. Wait a minute. Guys, in PRBO1, we have got 10 freaking manga cards. Okay, they're reprints, but holy crap, you know, this is crazy, super valuable. We've got the original OP5 Luffy, and strangely enough, you know, the prices on these are a lot more affordable, but also going up. So even though they're reprints, they are still valuable to collectors, to investors. I mean, look at this. Zoro is skyrocketing from 350 all the way to 642. This is a 76% spike in 1 year. So there's a lot of really interesting things in this set. And of course, although they're reprints, they are still valuable reprints. And that is why I think that PRBO1 belongs in S tier. That's right. I'm putting it in S tier because I just think it has a lot to offer. And there's just, you know, it has the most chase cards in all of the sets. And again, although the reprints, a lot of people love the fact that they got maybe a higher chance to pull one of these guys. And I just think that while it kind of segmented the market a little bit with the original mangas, I do think it's going to play an important role in the future. And I think it's great long-term investment. So moving on, guys. Moving on to EBO2, guys. Now, I'll be just really honest with you. I'll be short and sweet with this one. You know, the current price is $207. This was a really unique, interesting set. Obviously, we had very different styles of cards in this. But what was interesting to me was how the Gear 2nd Luffy card really kind of shot up in price, really kind of maintained its price. It's at $1,046 right now. But this card is definitely proving to be very stable. It's holding its price. It's not dropping too much. And to me, that really screams that there's not too many of the card. And I think it's a very solid chase card. It's also got Luffy, which is great. And you know, it's only $207 US. So honestly, I think this set, because it's an EB, I think belongs in A tier. It's a unique set. It's a different set. It's got a Luffy chase card. I think it's a good investment. I really do. I think it really stands above a lot of these other sets here, and I think it's worth getting. All right. So now that we've discussed everything else, I believe, now let's talk about PRBO2 and OP13. So guys, I think PRBO2, as long as it holds the same principles as the other PRB. So PRBO2, I think as long as it holds the principles of not being largely printed. And we need to consider the fact that this is also coming with a Sanji manga card, the first one, which is awesome. I really do think this set is going to be a good long-term hold. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a mind-blowing hold, but I think it's worth being in the A tier. Because if, and only if, we see that the manga Sanji card really stabilizes or goes up in price, it's just really going to prove my point that, this set is scarce. They didn't print that many. And, if you're one of the lucky people holding on to it at a good price, it's probably going to appreciate in value. Okay, so guys, the last set, PRB 013. Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to consider. We have got 3 manga cards. We've got Luffy, Sabo, Ace. We now have these 3 new manga card versions that have the red backgrounds. Okay? We've got new wanted poster cards, and we've got the goddamn Gorosei, drawn by Gege Akutami. I mean, guys, like this is some serious stuff here, okay? Gege Akutami, the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, personally made these drawings of the Gorosei. We have absolutely no idea what the scarcity is going to look like in this. We've got these red manga backdrops. We have absolutely no idea how scarce these are going to be. We've got an emu leader in this. This is going to be a sublime set, okay? This is going to be a sublime set. I really think this is just like OP9, just like OP5. I think this set's going to be a really big one. Now, I want to put it in S tier with all of my being. And perhaps that's where it belongs. Now, the only way I think it can stay in S tier, because I do think, personally, it is probably an S tier set, is if they don't print the crap out of this set, or they don't have a lot of prints or copies of the Gorosei, the red mangas, and all that sort of stuff. Otherwise, it's going in A. But I do think it's going to be an S, but again, I don't run the copy machine, I don't run all that stuff. Scarcity is an important part of this. If everybody's pulling a Gorosei in their fucking case or whatever, and we see that they're a dime a dozen, it's going to tank the set. If the red backdrops are like 0.001%, like mega rare, that's going to be interesting. It is a new chase, so there's a lot to consider here. But I'm going to put it in S tier for now, but I reserve the right to say it belongs in A tier if it's overprinted because it's not out yet.